Okay, hopefully I timed that right. And hopefully the game is not too loud. The splash screen has no audio? Or is my audio messed up? I think my audio might be messed up. Because I can't imagine the splash screen's not having audio. Yep, 1 second here. Audio is actually messed up. Just 1 second. Thought I had this fixed. There we go. That should be playing now. I don't know why that got reset. But we should be... Once my model stops going off screen. There we go. Alright, we should be good to go. Now, I have been told by two very close sources, my brother and my roommate, that this game is fan-fucking-tastic. Their words, not mine. So I do need to turn this up a little bit because on the TV I cannot see that logo on the right. Like I said, hopefully the game audio is not going to be too loud. It is going to be mostly metal music, so chances of it being very loud is going to be very high. So we will see. Oh, that's right. Since I have Game Pass, I get free skins. Can I use that skin, like, right now? Because that skin looks fucking great. Oh! Okay, we're just gonna sit here and listen to this for a second while I go ahead and redeem that free in-game item, huh? Oh, Trent Reznor is kind of a musical genius. Like, even if I don't listen to, like, his music consistently, like, I can appreciate what he does. I have unfortunately forgotten my Bethesda email shit. Who remembers that stuff anyway? Oh god. Yeah, so there was like a Doom email account for like Doom 1 and 2, and then Eternal and 2016 used that account, but for some reason here... You know what? This is something I'll do later. So let's see. What? No. Slayer skins. I appreciate the... Whoa, what the fuck is that? Okay, maybe I should stop looking at this stuff because I think... Oh, shit. Didn't mean to click that. Yeah, see, I thought it would use the Slayer Club stuff. So that's what I have. I don't actually have a Bethesda account. That explains it. Da-da-da. I apologize. I apologize. I do think I need to restart the game in order to get that skin. I did claim it, so if it doesn't show up, it doesn't show up. Then we're just gonna... Yeah, see, now that's what I was expecting. Yeah, when I turned the game on first, I was like, why is there no sound during the splash screens? That's not normally the case. And actually, we have a splash screen that me and my friends always get jump scared by because it's so fucking loud. It's when we play Outlast Trials. The red barrel splash screen is very loud. There it is! That's what I was looking for. Oh, that's not... Wow, they actually drop you on the easiest difficulty at first. Now... Most people would tell me to play on Nightmare because... apparently that's how it's supposed to be played. I'm sorry, I like to enjoy my games. If I want to play a hard game, I'll play a Souls-like. Lies of P was the last one I played. Very great game. I did beat it. It was super fun. We're just gonna play on the standard difficulty. This one actually has difficulty sliders, so if I find it too easy, I will turn the sliders up. I am not new to first-person shooters. I do not need that. I do not need that either. Okay, so this is the hurt me plenty. Okay, so... Okay. Alright, let's get going. We're already 15 minutes into stream and I haven't started playing yet. That's a little too long. Now, from what I understand, this game is a prequel? From what my roommate and my brother were saying was that this is more of a prequel. I don't know if it's just a prequel to Eternal or if it's a prequel to 2016 as well. I'm not sure. I looked at nothing about this game except for, like, the announcement trailer. So, I know absolutely nothing about this. Well, goddamn. Okay, well, it's definitely a prequel because one of the Hell Priests is alive, so...
We will not leave here until the heart of Argent is found. It is close.
The Horde will tear this village to pieces, but our time is running out. Soon, the humans will summon him.
Oh, I wonder who him could be.
We found the entry point.
Well, not that guy.
The barrier is still holding, but our scans show that 3 portals were opened from inside the village.
The demons couldn't get past the barrier, so their followers are letting them in. Thera.
The transports. How much time?
Get me the new bishop. Valen's armored division is still an hour away.
The fact that the humans are still coordinated
There's no time.
is definitely a sign that this is a prequel.
Bishop Creed. We need him.
Not to mention the castles and shit. Oh, it's fucking MODOK.
Commander. Thera. This temple must remain guarded.
The village of Colleen is a mining settlement. If it falls, everything will be destroyed, including your Sentinel energy reserves.
And like I always say, if there's something wrong with the volume, like the game's too loud, well, I'm too quiet, I'm too loud, so on and so forth, always just let me know and I can always fix it. Leave my shotgun, let's get this started. Woo! Alright, let's get it. I'm so fucking ready for this.
Confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Oh, there's actually a dash button now? And use my shield. Okay. Well, using oh yeah, I have to actually read tutorials because it's vastly different. Okay. While using shield block, you can lock onto a target. Lock on is active, press right trigger to shield charge. A shield charge can be used to travel great distances and deal damage on impact. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sheesh. Alright. Armor. Oh, they didn't even change the sound effect. It's the same. While sprinting, press A to jump higher. Environmental shield charge. And glory kill. Yep. Or they just straight up call them executions. When a demon takes enough damage to become dazed, press in on the right stick to near a dazed demon to execute. Executing an imminent drop additional health. Okay, so yeah, cool. Wonder why they don't call them glory kills in this one. I guess executions fit the theming. Oh, you bitch. Okay, can I turn that symbol off? It's not distracting, it's just... I don't need that much information on I can tell when an enemy is dazed. I don't need the little symbol there. And I might need to move some streaming equipment because my stream lights are blocking the shield, I guess I would call it a battery shield. Shield. Can't call it a shield charge because that's a move. Fuck it. Shield stamina is at the bottom left, and my lights are covering it, and I can't see it. Oh my goodness gracious. Woo! Okay. Okay.
Ensign, you have a lock on the Slayer's location? Confirmed. Weapon drop incoming in 3, 2, 1.
Is that my cannon? No, it's a gauntlet? Melee combos? Or is this just the blood punch from Eternal? With a different name. Press right trigger to perform a melee attack with your power gauntlet and consume a chart. Yeah, I think this is just the blood punch from Eternal. Except it starts with 3 charges instead of just 1, being able to hold 1. Oh, and it's not AoE. Okay. Oh, and the charges are picked up throughout the world. Okay, the combos are kind of cool. I like that a lot. Alright, always keep my eye out for secrets. Looks like there's an extra life here. I apologize, I'm going to be checking the map a lot. If you kill in the combat, okay, fine. Life sigil, not extra life. If you run out of life sigils, you die. You start with one check, but there's a limit. There's a limit to how many you can hold? Why, though? Look, when I fought the final boss on Eternal, I think I had, like, 9. That's fine. Point of no return objective markers. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Point of no return until you get to the end of the level, then I bet you they give you the fast travel. No, okay, so it's shield magic. Okay. We have an official name for it.
The main gate is under lockdown.
Again, I apologize. I will be consulting the map a lot because I am a collector. There is a toy here. I need a blue key. Okay, which means... Oh, I circle back around. Okay, easy enough. I gotta parry this. Yeah. Okay, good. And it destroys it, so I don't have to keep parrying it when I go down the hallway. Block right before getting hit by a green health surge projectile to reflect it back towards your attacker. I cannot believe they added parries to Doom. Alright. It's sick. It's absolutely fucking sick. Adding parries is pretty crazy. Parries to an FPS. Ow. Oh, I couldn't parry that one. Glory strikes. Once day, some demons are vulnerable to glory strikes. Glory strikes can disable attacks or even weaken, but they will not kill. I keep pressing B because I'm trying to dodge to the left and right, but I don't have that. Hopefully they bring it back. I use that a shit ton in Eternal, so I'm hoping they bring that back. But if they don't, then it's all about them parries, boys.
The cultists are traitors.
He's at ground zero. He located.
Well, it's an actual key. It's just not a floating hologram this time. Okay. Okay, so I want to go through here. Turn around. Automap. Yeah, I don't have to collect the automap this time, it looks like. It looks like you just start the missions with them. And we are once again on the way to collecting everything like I did in Doom Eternal.
Once he kills the demon, the portals will collapse.
What the fuck? Okay. He's got the objective scale. Oh god, I could have blocked that. Okay, for just a second, I didn't understand the assignment. I got it now. Purple secret key required. Okay, I will have to Keep an eye out for that. Paintbrush? Is that like a new skin color? Okay. I've got to remember the movement is a little bit more restrictive so far in Dark Ages than it was in Eternal. Oh, I gotta hold it. Oh, no, don't fall. Am I taking damage from that? I'm not. Okay. Can I, like, climb on the edge here? Nope. Without a valid target, I can't dash. So, I have to assume that... Oh, there's the secret key. It's up there. That I will earn some sort of double jump here relatively quickly. Or the dash. This is not either of those. Rail Spike Shredder. Full auto that launches barrage of Bart Spike, equal effective from close to long range, long GST on target. Unless... Oh. I see that. Where the fuck are you going? Whoop. Oh, shit. Yeah, they'll give it some weird name. Okay, well, the secret key isn't too secret if it's just going to show up on the map, but I'm not going to sit here and complain, obviously. Oh, I thought it ran away from me for a second. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be like that. Oh, wait, could it? Okay. Oh, God. Okay, I'm getting sniped. Alright. I need to... So like a mat. Okay, I get it. I'm moving.
All hell gates closed. The village is secure.
Okay, yeah, but I want that toy though. You can't tease me. Oh no, not toy. Oh, there is a some sort of sigil thing up here.
Tier 5 readings in the South Bay. Incoming.
A Titan has been summoned.
Oh, it's a codec. See, is there like another way down there maybe? Oh, this isn't the same thing, but I will take it. Yeah, I don't see any other way to get that. Oh, wait, actually, I kind of do. If my knowledge of how the Doom Eternal maps worked will work here. Let's go find out. I gotta remember there's a fucking dash button now. Okay, how do we get in here? Trying to see. I think there is a path leading down which would take me downstairs. Either that or that's the exit. That worked. Or, okay. Ow! A weapon skin acquired. Okay. So how do I look at it? I thought it said in the dossier. Oh, here it is, weapon skins. Well, that's not much different. But hey, cool. You can actually find weapon skins in-game. You don't have to earn them in weird ways. Alright, well. That was an I'm just glad I didn't die. That would have been really embarrassing. Just one secret to go. I'm checking the map to make sure that I did not skip over it. I do not. Yeah, it's a short level, so if I have to replay it at some point, then that's not a big deal. I do not see it, so that means it must be further on. Okay. It's probably in that little outcropping right there. Oh, my bad. Okay, okay, stop screaming at me. My god, I'm going. And I was exactly right. Alright. I mean, it was pretty obvious, so I'm not gonna, you know, claim credit for something that obvious, but... I also gotta remember, too, that I can block the red attacks. That's something I keep forgetting, and I keep trying to dodge them pressing B, which I cannot do because there is no dodge mechanic. Yet. I'm still holding out hope that there will be later on. And the codex, and that will be all the secrets of this level. Pretty simple.
We need backup! Someone get on that turret!
Okay, secrets. It says 5, but it says 6 of 6. Okay, we're done. Alright. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Excuse me, sir. Does this turret have BFG ammo?
Target advancing. All remaining enemy targets have been neutralized.
Damn. Level 1 and they already have you eliminating a Titan. Pretty heavy start.
They lied to us. And now he has a leash.
The Makers felt a weapon as powerful as the Slayer.
Should be guided.
And you agreed.
He's not one
Of us. They want assurances. And so did I.
Oh, this is like a prequel. This King Novik is like a guiding ghost in Eternal, so...
The beast is tearing through our ranks once again. And still, you continue to be influenced by this outsider. It is not this witch who is forced onto the battlefield against the Slayer. All the power of hell cowering before one man.
Something tells me we're gonna be breaking free of that leash later.
Divided. The time is now. And the heart of Argent gives us the power to conquer the beast and crush his allies. The Horde is yours to command. For now, Prince Azaric. I will be informing the High Council of your progress.
They fear him. And so your dominion over hell is not absolute.
Avoid the Slayer. We should focus on breaking the humans first. Then resume our search.
Yeah, I didn't need a countdown of every secret that I found.
Sire, the demons are now targeting the Sentinel's energy relay. It powers their transdimensional barrier.
Yes?
It is an energy field which prevents the demons from opening a portal into this world.
It doesn't work.
What you see now is a result of Sentinel civilians falling under the influence of demons and opening portals for them. A mere leak in the dam, sir. If the barrier were to break,
Slayer vitals increasing.
I knew it wouldn't be long before he tried to break free.
Slayer prepped for launch.
It's remarkable how he can survive the power surge.
Yes. We purify his mind and leave only his hatred for the demons.
But his resistance to the Teller's influence is increasing.
A request to the Creed for additional energy reserves has already been made.
Launch the Slayer immediately. He's at the drop zone. Deploying weapon pod now.
What you got for me? Ah, this game's version of the chainsaw. Alright. Maybe. Deal damage to metal to trigger superheated state. Throwing the shield slot's superheated metal will instantly shatter it. Shattering metal objects open its paths in the environment.
Targeting demonic threat.
Please excuse me while I do the classic backtrack at the beginning to see if there's anything. Well. Okay.
We can't stop them!
Damn. Alright.
Reroute all units to the energy relay.
Sheesh. There's only 3 collectibles in this level. But 9 secrets? Alright then. Okay, we got ourselves some brand new mechanics. So we got some figuring out to do. Ah, come on. I forgot there is a limit. But that did count. It did count towards finding the secret, though, so I'll take it. But the fact that I can't mark it off my map might confuse me later on. Is a toy down there. Gonna enter from somewhere else. Oh, dropping from a large height actually does like an AoE stomp?
We can't stay here. We can't stop them.
Okay, so finding that codex didn't count as a secret? It is really nice that they did add... I didn't see the fast travel at the end of the last mission, so I do wonder if there actually isn't fast travel. But that might just be for the first level, because it is technically a tutorial level. So maybe there just wasn't a fast travel for that one. I'm hoping there is. There's only one more collectible on this level, according to the thing down there at the bottom right. Yeah, parrying is actually pretty massive. Okay. There is a couple icons I do not recognize. Oh.
Abet facilities are under lockdown.
Gold? Okay, so I'm guessing I have to collect all these and the game will tell me what they're for. I wonder if this game is gonna have like a hub. Like Doom Eternal did, like the Fortress of Doom. Something similar. I wouldn't be surprised if he just took over the fucking, the Maker, ship that he's currently on. Use gold to buy upgrades at a Sentinel Shrine. Oh, nope. Okay, so you just buy it here. Okay. Is this my double jump? Oh, okay. Okay. Applies burn. That right there is enough for me to just grab it. What is all of this? No, I'm taking the burn. Yeah. Oh, the blue key card's in that room over there. It's just showing me that. Why is it saying that there's a fight here? Maybe later. Okay.
The command room has the key. Mark it on the Slayer's map.
Those are... Okay. Stone Imp can deflect the shield cell with its stone skin. It is vulnerable to shield charge, which will cause it to explode. Alright then. Pretty straightforward on that one. I never thought I'd say this, but the melee combat in Doom is pretty good. It's pretty good. Stop with your stupid ritual. Sure, grabbed everything. Did I kill that last enemy? Or did he just run away? I have 46 gold. That is such a weird number. Did I miss? No, there just happens to be one piece just all by itself down there. Gold collection looks like it's gonna be...
Welcome to research and development. Operations are currently suspended.
I do wonder if that's gonna... if gold is gonna count towards, like, level completion. Get it on the other side. Okay, I think I'm focusing too much on trying to collect shit, and I need you to actually focus on the game. This looks like a point of no return, but it doesn't say it is. Ah, hello, you again. Well, you gonna give it? Oh. Accelerator shoots out plasma energy at a very high rate of fire. Moderate speed, making it less effective at long range. This plasma energy can also quickly overload energy shields.
Plasma gun test in progress.
Whoa. This thing is erratic as hell. Cool. Another energy sigil that I cannot use. Yeah, I think maybe after this level, maybe I'll up the difficulty. Not sure yet, because I did come close to death a few times. So maybe not. There's another type of resource that we're gonna find too. I'm not sure what that is. It's probably a health and or armor. Oh god. I still... Yeah, okay. I definitely... me and my fucking OCD needing to collect everything. Okay, so how do I... Aha, there you are. Yeah, on Eternal, I had to use a guide for one item, and it was because there was no fucking way I was ever going to be able to find it on my own. There's like a giant, like, vent you have to fall down, and there was a toy hidden in that vent, but I just could not see, like, there was like a breakable wall or something that you needed to destroy, and I was just like, bro, I cannot see it. And I'm looking and looking and looking, and I had to look it up, and I was, oh god.
Commander, we need assistance out here.
Well, you ain't talking to me. I don't know who you are. I don't work for you. Okay, well, it looks like this first area has been completely cleared out. So let us move forward. Woo! Alright, still getting used to those parries. They're definitely not as hard as Expedition 33's, but they're still decently difficult. What the fuck? Oh, those little question marks are just the resources. Have to be. Okay, come on, you can do stairs. You know how to do stairs. Okay, that looks like the correct way to go. So I do not want to go through there just yet. Never mind. Oh, okay, well, I don't know why you didn't go in. The Doomslayer, everybody. Holy shit. Okay, no, that door's actually locked. So. Okay. Look. Doom. Okay, you're gonna be called Doom Guy until you get into this fucking hole. Bro, this is the hardest jump I've ever done. There we go. Jesus. Oh-ho! There we go. And it's just another life sigil. Oh my lord. Well, there was some gold as well, so can't really complain. Oh my god, I pressed the wrong button like 3 times in that fight and somehow I still survived. Woo! Alright. That was really close. Okay, now the game is picking up in difficulty. Okay, that area is not a secret. It was on the map. Like, come on, man. Alright, so there is 1 more collectible and 2 more secret areas. That's the mission end. Did I... Okay, because that's the end of the mission signal, isn't it? Like, no, that can't be. Because I'm still missing, like, 70-something gold. And I'm still missing whatever that extra... that other new thing is. Okay, well, we'll search the map thoroughly 1 more time. There's a whole nother area over here. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna go back because it looks like there might be a ramp that takes me over there. So I really feel like that's the mission complete symbol. If it is, this mission was maybe shorter than the first one. Okay, no, the bridge is out here. Okay, so that is not the end of the mission. Okay, it can't be. And if it is, well, then so be it. It's a short one anyway, so coming back isn't a big deal. Okay.
There's a teleporter nearby. Mark it for him.
Oh, there's a weapon skin up there. Shield at green flesh nodes to embed the shield into them. While the shield is embedded, press left bumper again to pull yourself towards the shield. Using shield recall jump will allow you to cross large gaps. Okay. Yeah, retaliation just seemed like... Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about the ruin stuff. Yeah, we'll grab that as well. Because those are two things that will always be equipped regardless. So I just feel like it's huge to upgrade your shield and your melee. Alright. There is 8 more gold. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's gonna be... Wait, unless that last... Yeah, that question mark is a piece of gold. It's gotta be. I was aiming for him the whole fucking time and I just couldn't hit him. Okay, so that should be everything except for that last collectible. Was that an accelerator skin or was that the shredder skin? Yeah, so there's still technically one more collectible, or quote-unquote resource, and I think the game's just going to give it to me for free. But I will still look just in case. Yes, god damn it. Well, there's my first death. Oh, that's why. Kept pressing the wrong button. I was like, why am I missing these parries so bad? I was gonna say, are you gonna fucking die soon? Oh, boss. Yep. Oh, goody. Ah, I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. Demonic Essence upgrade. Leaders are special demon variants that are stronger and have unique attacks. Hunt down and defeat leaders to claim their demonic essence. Collecting demonic essence will permanently increase the Slayer's health, armor, or ammo capacity. Okay. I actually like that better than the way Eternal handled it. With the Argent crystals. I prefer it this way. Especially if they're like special bosses that aren't a part of the level. What the fuck is that? Oh, I guess that's just the end of the chapter. They're just gonna leave you on that cliffhanger. Yeah, they need to update this so this goes by a little bit faster. Because I don't want to hit back, because I don't want it to send me back to the main menu again. "22 chapters, okay. I was wondering why the levels felt a little short. And that's probably because the first few levels are probably going to be really short like those, the ones that we just did. Right. Well, it would have been had I ended stream right there. So I kind of planned for this to be a short stream anyway. But there ain't no fucking way I'm ending on what I'm assuming is going to be a mech fight.
Engines online.
Established.
Bro, what the fuck is happening? Okay, there can't be... Okay, I was gonna say, there cannot be collectibles on this level. If there are collectibles while you're in a fucking mech, that's gonna be insane. Oh no! Green energy is a myth. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine I just start throwing some political shit in this stream for no fucking reason, just because I saw some solar panels. Okay. Yeah, finisher meter, huh? The palm strike? Palm strike deals extremely high damage to a single enemy. You got the 1-inch punch in there somewhere? This thing schmovin' though. This thing is fast as hell. Press right bumper when no finisher is charged will activate a rocket punch. Alright. Huh? And do I have the parry?
A Titan broke through. The energy relay is under attack.
Bro, this is ridiculous. How do you have a dodge, but only in the mech?
Dimensional barrier is shutting down. We can't stop it now. How long do we have?
Not long. The reactor has sustained heavy damage.
Bro, this is fucking absurd. Didn't know the Dark Ages had giant mechs. Another Slayer mech? Oh, that must be King Arvik.
More Titans ahead. Support team, deploy weaponry.
Yeah, like the first level made sense because there was like castles and ballistas and shit, but then they added like energy turrets with like BFG energy, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I'm starting to think Dark Ages is in a time period. Supercharge. Perform a perfect dodge to supercharge your weapon. Pretty much, yeah. Y'all wanted Vermintide 3, right? Ow. I will admit, this is fun as fuck. Because just how fucking ridiculous it is.
Sire, Slayer is approaching the core.
The barrier is critical. Relay overloading.
We need to pull everyone back.
Ow. I'll take that. Whatever that is.
That core will explode. He needs to evacuate now.
Nah. I'm good.
He's trying to save the city. Slayer, there's a strip mine nearby.
Ooh, stripped. What? Oh, not that kind of. Okay. You bitch. Damn. Alright. Why am I even checking? There's not going to be any collectibles on these missions. Well, who knows? Maybe later. In later ones.
No response from the makers.
Oh god, no, my controller died. No! Why now? It's alright, I got the cord right here. We're all good.
Seeing the Slayer for evac now.
Yeah, basically. Look, Patrick, we did it. We saved the city. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Okay, well, we're gonna give it a second because it keeps disconnecting. We're gonna give it just a few seconds here to control, to control the charge. All right, that's a few seconds. Yeah, we're basically destroying the entire base. Like, I don't know what is going on here. Oh, ow. Bro, come on, man. This is why I always should have a spare charge battery on me. Alright, yep, we're gonna have to wait a sec. That's unfortunate. I thought I had this fully charged before I got on stream, but I guess I didn't. Well, at least we can still listen to the banger-ass music at the same time while this is happening. Okay, come on, just let me get through this level. Come on. Oh, you... what are you doing? Oh, shit. Yeah, man, catch you later. Bro, that's not necessary. He looks so fucking sad. The demon looks so fucking sad when you shove the core in his mouth. Like, bro. He was like, why? Why are you doing this to me?
The transdimensional barrier is offline. Demonic activity is surging. The Creed has requested an immediate report.
Return to the Sentinel barracks.
I did as you asked. Now please, let her soul be at peace.
And the heart of Argent.
is sealed in the chamber. I told you, I cannot open it. No one can.
Okay, well, this game is fun as fuck. So yeah, that's gonna do it for now. We beat the first 3 levels of the campaign. The 3rd level was kind of just an extension of the 2nd level. But almost 2 hours. But yeah, this feels like a vastly different game than Eternal did. Like, it really feels like a completely different game, honestly. Like, there's a whole hell of a lot less emphasis on aerial combat, like jumping around, dashing, and all that, and it's more about parrying, using your shield properly, and actually, like, ramping up damage so that your shield can be used. And then the whole melee combat focus is pretty fucking cool, to be honest. So I am enjoying the hell out of this so far. So we are definitely going to play more of this later. I'm going to try to juggle this game between this, Expedition 33, and 100 Line. I've been kind of slacking on 100 Line and Expedition 33 because we got kind of hooked on Dredge for a bit. Which we still need to go back and do the DLC for. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned and a lot more streams to come. So thank you so much for sticking around for this. I'm sorry it was such a short one. Normally I would go for a bit longer, but I have a game session with my friends later. And I really should relax before that. So I will catch you all in the next stream and have a good one.